Yay!
It's like a special report. This just in. So as I've told many people, I'm going to do a quick intro. Obviously, because that's what I'm doing now. So today would have been / is, however you'd like to refer to it, Tommy's 50th birthday. And I thought, what better way to celebrate the man we all know and love by once again having everyone sit down and dedicate an entire hour to talking about him, because he would have loved that.
Full hour.
So there's going to be a bunch of people coming in and out. I'm going to give a little bit of time to get some people in, let people tune in, and I'm going to prattle on for a little bit while those people are coming in. But we're going to have a couple students of his. Tommy's last student, Connor, who everybody knows and loves as my student and assistant. We're going to have, I don't know who else. I have a little list here. We have Jason Cruz, who is, I believe, and I'm always wrong on this, so he will correct me when we send him the link and tune in. But I believe he was like the first or one of Tommy's students, and this is many years before me, so he'll be able to tell you stuff and share some stories from young Tommy. We've got an awesome comic book creator and 3D modeler, Fred, who has kind of jumped in between both of us. And then, of course, me and Arash and anyone else that wants to jump in and share their Tommy stories. If you want to join in via video, audio, just shoot me or Arash a message and we'll get you the link so we can jump you in. And then at the very end, very end, we are going to do a 3-question Tommy trivia question. And for each question, the first person who answers correctly will win a free Castillo print. And then the bonus question, the granddaddy of them all, will win one of the few signed Tommy prints I have left. So let's, I guess, get this shebang started. I have a lot of fans that may be tuning in that are fans of mine. So the awesome, you know what? We should have had a picture of Tommy. Hold on a minute.
Wait, yeah.
My own dead husband.
I would go with the Muppet.
Yeah, right? No,
the Muppet would be.
That's all right. I have his picture that I have on his urn. This is how prepared I am, kids. And hi, Stacy. Ta-da! There's Tommy. All right, we'll put him there.
I know. Apparently, the ones I had with Tommy's face on them, I've given away at different shows.
I should have worn the one with the shirt. The Tommy pillow.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The Tommy pillow has been retired because it freaks me out. And I'm the woman that has, you know, his bones in a bowl next to his urn, and it freaks me out. So I can't do it. But we've got the Tommy
pillow. Wait. Originally, other people were freaking out over the pillow. Now it's freaking you out?
Well, you know, I don't know what to do with it. Like,
I know.
Because it sits on the couch. Like, if I put it on the couch, it's weird. Because, like, I'll walk out of the, like, in the middle of the night, I'll go to get a, you know, I'll go to get a,
okay, I know this. Let's give it away as a prize. Let's give the Tommy Castillo pillow a prize.
No. Somebody gave it to me out of love, so I'm not going to give it away to someone else. It's just it's living in a home in not being used at the moment. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, but that pillow just sits, watches in the corner.
Well, you know, when I first got it, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great because Tommy told me on his deathbed that he wanted me to get a life-size standee of him, so that fans could still take pictures with him. And I thought that was funny. But then one day, the pillow like showed up in a box, and it was the freakiest way to deliver it because it was an unmarked cardboard box sitting on my doorstep. Thanks, Michelle. And so when I
People like me that have taken a picture with it.
Yes. So I thought it was fun to take around to shows and so people could still take pictures with Tommy. But the creepy thing was it's like I can't leave him in the garage. I'm not gonna leave him in the car. Although I did actually put it in the passenger seat so I could go down the HOV lane in Atlanta. It's
Oh
like
my
a
god.
person. I mean, when you glance at it real quick, it looks like a person. So,
Fred
we
says
got lots of
hi.
comments. What's going on?
Fred says hi.
Hi, Fred.
You know, Snoop had to go ill. I don't know where that pillow's been. The pillow hasn't been that much. Heart faces everywhere. Hello, my love.
Hello.
From What Wolf?
What Wolf? I don't know who you are, but hello.
And of course, Adrian. Howdy.
Stalker. Many of you know Tommy. So I'm going to do a brief history of the man. Because some people tuning in are tuning in because they're my fans and they have no idea who Tommy is except my dead husband, which, I mean, that's kind of a cool accolade, I guess. Well, not cool being dead, but you know what I mean. Tommy was actually, before he passed, he had been in the Illustrated, he had been a published artist for 30 years. March 7th, 1987 was his first publication of actually, he was 16 or 17 years old. And his art teacher, Mr. Dan Iorio, who, if you watch this, good sir, it's all because of you. He actually sent Tommy's artwork in to a competition, and it got approved. And they looked at it, they canceled the competition, and then they just took Tommy's art. And it was printed in the newspaper, and it was a historical pictorial map of New Jersey. And I actually have a copy of it somewhere in this house. I don't know where, but I know I have a copy. And it would have been smart of me to go, "Huh, look at that." But it was New Jersey, and then where each of the major cities were, there was like a blowout, and then there was a like a picture of what that city might have been known for historically. And so that was actually his first publication. From there, he became a gallery artist. And it wasn't until I'd say early mid-90s when he started working for Blackout Comics is when he started in his comic book career. And from there, he just went up. He went and was doing stuff for Marvel, DC. He did Batman for nearly, 10 years. Worked with George Romero on toe tags and George's films. Let's see, what else? Green Arrow, Spawn, Spider-Man, Savage Dragon, Evil Ernie, Tales from the Crypt. I mean, there's so many to name. And then most famously, he is the cover artist for Strathmore 500 series Bristol, which you can see the advertisement behind me, the big one. And then what I would say he made him more of a household name is the Green Recycled Sketchbook. So this is the original of the Green Recycled Sketchbook. You see that? And this actually, I'll show you the actual cover too. This cover was originally printed. Everybody should know this. Can you see me at all? I can't. It's there.
I know, right? You could do the overhead. Switch, we could put it for the overhead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got all that up there. I got the tchotchkes to decorate. So this is my normal art setup. But the camera on this, or the microphone on this camera sucks. But this one overhead is awesome. But you can't have one without the other. And that cover actually propelled him to more worldwide fame. Its initial printing was 140 million worldwide, and outpublished the entire that initial printing outpublished by hundreds of million. Marvel and DC pamphlet comics when that publication came out. So needless to say, before he passed, he ended up becoming a pretty prolific artist. So I'm actually going to let him read all of these comments, and then I'm going to bring on Jason.
All right. So what Wolf says, it's Emil.
Oh, it's Emily. Hi, Emily. I don't
remember. Larissa says, we could see Arash.
Yes.
Also adds, Larissa also says, original. Emily says, makes me get weepy when I see the art at stores.
I visit them every day. Like every time I go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, I have to walk through the aisle and I'm like, hey, Tommy.
And then what's the other one? And then pretty much I do the same thing to you too. Look, it's a Tommy moment.
I love when people send me Tommy art.
Right.
Or Tommy photos of like them like bloop, there it is, bloop, there it is. It makes me so happy because that's their best. Like they've had many covers. Their last cover with the 3 pencils that did the thing, had like I don't know, was on there for like 15, 20 years. But Tommy's cover, you know, a couple of years in was actually their best ever pre-sold cover. So out of the entire company history from what we were told by the sales reps, which is awesome. And he's actually been on Strathmore covers since 2010 with the 500 series. But the sketchbook, which has sold much more because it's more of a usable thing, has actually been in print for 10 years. So I'm hoping the more I push the covers, the Strathmore, just saying, the more I push the covers, you know, the longer he'll stay on it. So I'm hoping for the 20-year mark. Then maybe I'll take over.
There you go. What a Wolf says, same. I made sure to get one last time. I restocked my supplies.
Right.
Marissa also adds, I still sometimes buy them when I see Tommy's art, even though I have a million sketchbooks already.
People send them to me, and I'm okay with that because that means I will never run out of paper.
Snoop PGR says it's Greg.
Yeah, I know it's Greg.
Mystery Spot Studios says, happy birthday, Tommy. Thanks, Sammy, for putting this together. Love the Secret Origin episode. Bernie OG, aka the blood the blood one.
Blonde one. Hey Bernie, thank you. Thanks for the photos. He posted a bunch of awesome photos of him and Tommy, I think from 2008, 2009, before I even met Tommy, before he became a more put together individual. And by that, I mean Tommy, not Bernie. I'm sure Bernie's put together, but it's not my responsibility at that point.
Melissa says, happy birthday, Tommy. Send love and hope.
Hi, Melissa.
Daniel says, I do the same thing just to double check on that. He's still there.
So fun fact, Donald actually owns the very last, one of the very last full paintings Tommy did. And he owns the, actually the Gates of Oz. I sold him the Gates of Oz knowing that it would be going to a good home. And that was the last piece of Dark Side of Oz artwork Tommy ever ended up painting. So Donald owns that. And I told him that he could buy it under the condition that in his will, when he dies, it has to come back to me. Right. So he gave me lots of money to be borrowing it for a couple of decades, and then I'm going to get it back.
Javo's here sending a lot of love.
Hey, Javo.
Nathan says, hey, Sammy. Oh, my God, there's way so much.
I know. Let's read a couple more, and then we're going to bring Jason on, because I think Jason.
Yes, Jason is ready to join us.
Let's read a couple more, and Jason's waiting in the wings, so.
Michael Allen says, happy birthday, Tommy. Rest easy, my friends. JJ Cohen has joined us. Best podcast ever. Thank you, JJ. Dork floats, Dork floats. Joy Wood says, love when I see covers.
Oh,
Gina Marie says, happy birthday, Tommy Castillo. My Sunspot Studios. Hope the photos and the videos make you. My phone keeps going off too at the same time, so I got to put phones away. Hope the photos and videos work for you.
Yeah.
JJ says Tommy's the best.
All right, let's switch over to Jason. Let's not keep commenting, guys. We will definitely catch up with you, but let's bring Jason on. Hey, Jason.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? My thing got blurry. I miss seeing you at San Diego. I see you at San Diego every year. I miss seeing you.
I haven't been since 2013 or 14.
Wow, just kidding.
What?
They all blend together. I feel like it was just like last year I saw you. Well, not last year, but the year before that.
It's just too many people. You know,
I agree.
Too much.
Right.
I want to be able to walk through an aisle without, you know, almost like crowd surfing.
Right. It's a mosh pit. You know.
Oh yeah.
Arash,
Arash,
take off the logo because it's like making you look like a weird pirate. There we go.
Needs to see my face anyway. Look, I'm gonna have, you know.
You like the Phantom of the Opera with that logo. So Jason, tell people a little bit about your history with Tommy because you're one of the first one of like his first students, right?
I mean, he had been teaching before. I was before Chris.
You're right.
I think I had known Tommy. God, I met him in 97.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I signed up for his class, and it was at Zap Comics in the Freehold Mall, which I don't even know if it's still there. I know Zap Comics isn't there anymore.
Right.
They just moved. And, yeah, I took his class, and then I ended up, you know, being one of his advanced students, and we just became, you know, good friends after that. I think Chris, I want to say he came on the following summer as a student, you know, and talked him up. You know, he loved Chris too.
Yeah. He was so proud of both of you. I remember him bragging about you when I became his student many moons later. And I remember
you hear any weird noises. I'm sorry. I just got a new cat condo and I'm assembling it, and that's what that is.
Oh, no worries. That's all right. There's strange noises in this house. I don't even know what half of them are. Oh, nice. We got a guest star. That's perfect. Yeah. I remember Tommy telling me he was so proud of you, bragging about how you worked on Stuart Little.
Oh yeah, but I didn't get credit for that because I was an intern and you had to animate at least 10 scenes, and I only did 2 or 3.
Oh well, he was still proud of you. He didn't care. I remember him bragging about that in my class, like when I first met him in like 2010 or 2009. I think I met him. And it was so funny. He's like, yeah, one of my students was doing his name's Jason because he listened to me and now he's doing this.
He was such a good teacher.
Was he?
He made, you know, he explained a lot of stuff that I just didn't get. You know, his storytelling, he was really good at telling visual stories.
Yeah.
Just, you know, because one of my other best friends, you know, I had literally, I think like the day before gotten back from visiting out here when Wildstorm was still around. And one of my best friends from college is he was a penciler there. He's a penciler intern. And, you know, I learned a lot from him, but he never talked about a lot of the storytelling stuff.
Right.
Or knew a lot of the, you know, the reference that Tommy knew. You know, like I had never heard of Andrew Loomis, if you guys are familiar with him.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about Tommy when he taught was he taught you like how to learn after him as well. Like not to copy the copiers, but find the origin of why these people are doing things the way they are and then learn from that guy. Don't learn from the copiers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was always so good about teaching how to survive in like as an artist as well. I don't know if he had gotten to that point with you in the beginning, because that was probably like in the early couple of years of his career, right?
I mean, he had done the work for, I don't even remember the name of that studio. It was, you know, the 90s, the, you know, the extreme type stuff with the really
Blackout Comics.
Well, what, Blackout.
Yeah, Blackout. Yep.
Yeah. He had done that, but it was, I think 2 years before he did Batman, maybe 3. Actually, no, he didn't do Batman until like 2002 or 3, did he? What is that?
Blackout Comics. Ta-da.
Show the first one again.
Just kidding. Wait, he doesn't even have these in order. I'm
gonna have a word with him.
That's one of the Blackout Comics. I thought these would be like in some form of order. They aren't. You got like D&D. It's all over the place. Fucking Tommy. That's
well, oh my God, when he used to live in what was it, Eatontown? I can't even remember what town it was now.
Yeah, Eatontown when it was in Jersey.
Yeah, he lived in the trailer, and oh my God, the amount of crap in that trailer. Oh, and it wasn't like garbage, you know, but he kept everything.
He multiplied that into a house.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop ever.
Nope. No, he just had to have more and more stuff.
He loved. Then the funniest thing I think I found about him was that he always complained about being claustrophobic, but yet he would surround himself with towers of collectibles, and everything was like looming over you, right?
I'm trying to remember if there was a falling accident of stuff collapsing. I feel like I'm having.
I wouldn't be surprised with how that man built things. So, what is one of your favorite fun Tommy, quintessential Tommy memories?
Tommy, oh my God! Every time I think of Tommy, I think of when he was out here for the Pasadena Con in 2003.
Okay.
Now, I'm trying to remember if he stayed with me that weekend or not, because I was living in Orange County at the time. But what happened was, it was the most whirlwind weekend, I think, to this day of my life. Because if I didn't know Tommy, you know, I had the TV show for a season, but if it wasn't for Tommy, I wouldn't have had that TV show because of the people he introduced me to, and then they subsequently introduced me to.
Right.
I would not have met those people.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. You know, I'm sitting there the whole weekend talking to Bernie, talking to I can't remember the editor's name now. Bob? Was it Bob?
Bob Schreck?
Yes.
Yeah, his editor at DC.
Yeah, I was, you know, we're hanging out, and you know, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Bernie Wrightson the whole weekend.
Yeah.
who was the nicest freaking guy ever. And just, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm doing that. And then later that night, Tommy and I go, I don't know if we did it we went to both these places the same day. I think it was one day and then the next, but we went to Steve Giles, and it was right after he had sold 30 Days a Night.
Right.
And, you know, I'll always remember Steve's place. You know, I think he lives in Austin now, but at the time he was in LA, and he had bookcases in the shapes of coffins.
That's awesome.
Which was awesome. And he had horror posters everywhere. So that was cool. But then I think it was the next night, Tommy sold like so much stuff to the drummer of System of a Down.
Oh, yep.
And I
saw
went with him
at San Diego like the year before last too.
Last year, actually.
I got it on a side note. I'm still mad at my wife about this. He had signed a vinyl record for us.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I moved back out here first when we moved a couple years ago from Utah to Pasadena. For some reason, it never got packed.
No.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
You definitely have to get another copy of the album and bring it to San Diego Comic-Con and get it signed by him.
Yeah, I see him every year at San Diego. And the funny thing is, this was Tommy, because for him, you know, like the drummer of System of a Down, you know, it was just that. It's I always forget his name too. But
John Dolmayan.
Huh?
John Dolmayan.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
That's okay. He's not watching. He probably is. Hi. But you know, he would introduce people to me like, hey, this is John. And I'd be like, oh, hey, John. And I don't know who this person is. Or Tommy's favorite thing to do, because I apparently have the inability of recognizing any famous person standing at our booth. And he has, like, he's talking with this guy who looks like a bodybuilder. He's bald. He's got a super hot wife and a couple of kids. And they're chatting. I remember it was my first San Diego. And I'm selling stuff. I'm like, you know, because it's my first San Diego. I've never been. And out of nowhere, Tommy goes, "Hey, you like Nine Inch Nails?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're all right." Like, "Yeah, I like Nine Inch Nails." Like, it came out of nowhere. And Tommy's like, "Okay," and looks directly at this guy. And I'm like, "Okay." And then the guy laughs. Tommy's like, "You're useless." And then they continue with their conversation. And this guy walks away. And then Tommy comes up and he's like, "You know, that was Trent Reznor, right?" And I was like, "Get the out of here, that was Trent Reznor." Trent Reznor doesn't look like that. He's got long emo black hair, like from the 90s, like I remember. But
I don't remember him being built at all. Oh yeah, I guess the first video.
With tattoos, like he looked like an MMA fighter. It was so funny. But he would always like ambush me with that kind of stuff. So it's funny that I wasn't the only person he did that with.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, I don't generally get starstruck, but he really didn't get starstruck.
Not at all. Not at all. He was just like, "Hey, brother, what's up?" Like, and he would do that to with me to everybody. It didn't matter who it was. It was like, "Hey, this is Bob." Cool. Bob who? You know? It was so funny. So before I kick you off so I can get somebody else on, you know, what I'm trying to think of a good closing question. So what is one thing that Tommy taught you that, like, you know, you carry and use, like, to this day in your career and your art?
Good question.
So this was actually pretty easy. I mean, you know, I do the super cartoony stuff now, and as does Chris. But, you know, I still do a lot of comics, and I always think of the reverse S of a comic page to make it follow the eye. You know, don't have like one panel and then another and have the character in that second panel, you know, busting out of it back towards the first panel.
Right.
He was great at, he taught me how to lead the eye.
Awesome.
You know? Awesome.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining in and sharing stories that I never even knew about. And please, you know, if you can, continue to watch while you're building your cat condo. Feel free to chime in with any other funny anecdotes. And let's read some comments because I keep seeing them scroll up. So everyone say thank you to Jason. Jason, real quick before you go, where can people find you through social media for your artwork?
Oh, well, let's see. My website is jasontcruse.com. So that's Kruse.
Okay.
And I'm on Instagram as Jason T. Cruz. And I forget, I'm just Jason Cruz on LinkedIn.
Okay. Pretty much just
I think Twitter is reversed.
And they'll find you.
What's that?
I said just look up Jason T. Cruz and they'll find you.
Yeah, I had to go with Cruz Jason T on Twitter because I could not get my password back for the original Jason T. Cruz, no matter what I did.
I hate that. That's okay. Somebody hijacked Tommy's Twitter account and it got suspended and I can't get it back. So I made a new one, but I made a new one like yesterday. So, all right. Well, everyone, please go give Jason some Castillo fan love, follow, look at his artwork. And once again, Jason, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
Great to see you.
You too. Good. We'll chat later. Keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Bye.
Bye. All right. Woo! Yay! That was fun. I'm glad I figured to do this. All right, let's pick somebody else. What do we got comments-wise? It's Jason and Sierra. I mean, Jason and Sierra.
Connor and Sierra?
I mean, Connor. I could have called you Corey. My own two kids. I don't remember the boy's name. It's the boy and the girl.
Just a quick thing. Presley says hi.
Hey.
Larissa added Tommy strikes again with the poll. Greg says, thank you, Jason. Bernie says, oi. A lot of thank yous, Jason. Thank you, brother. A lot of love today. A lot of love.
Hey.
Yes, greetings from Berlin.
Ah. Hey, it's Peter. Hey, Peter.
Looking forward to having a barbecue together.
Fuck yeah. I can't wait to have fun conversations. You got to get a commission from me instead of old white men.
Right?
I gave that poor guy such shit about getting a commission from me that all he got commissions from old guys, old white guys. Anyway, he did get a little commission from me, and I was very happy about it. It was. I did what did I do? Oh, I did Miles Morales Spider-Man. That's right.
Oh yes.
And I did the paint splatter, and it looked really cool. I did another one actually after that. I wanted to make it better. So anyway, hi Connor and Sierra. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So Connor, you guys, if you don't know, which you should because you've probably met him at a show, Connor has been my student and assistant for the last
3 years.
Several years?
3.
3 years. And Sierra has kind of always been my student. We were doing, so why don't we'll swap, make them the big screen and explain how Tommy and I met you guys. Talk now.
You were doing, yeah, you came down from for Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Right. I don't know if Masquerade came first or us meeting you at MegaCon came first.
It was MegaCon.
MegaCon, I think, the year before.
Yeah.
So Connor and Sarah are high school students, and we were friends with their art teacher, Mike Nicholson, and they were in the art honor club or some shit like that. And they were holding like a Masquerade face-off type of competition for it. So that's called Masquerade as backstory. So they were teenagers. Continue.
So we met you at MegaCon for the first year of the art club being a thing.
And going to Masquerade just to look around.
Well, no, we didn't. We just went to MegaCon to meet you guys because Nicholson was very proud of meeting you and knowing you. And he was like, he pretty much was showing off his art club. He's like, look what I have. Can I keep it? And,
look at the friend that I know.
Yeah. And so
I know a famous person.
So that's how we met you. And then you guys came down to do a lesson.
Yes.
Tommy was just meeting the class and kind of, I guess, just showing us how to draw a dragon?
It was how to draw a dinosaur with different emotion.
Yeah.
So we had a straw, just a regular dinosaur, and all of our dinosaurs would just look like shit. He goes, hey, draw it with an emotion, though. And then they all looked good because they had, like, action or like, slouching.
And then I don't know if it was that meeting when you guys came down or if it was another one. But then Tommy came and had us draw what scared us the most. So we got.
It might have been the same one because we came down with the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was the first one.
Okay.
Because we were there for like I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. We were there for a while.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, you're gonna pair up and draw something with emotion, and then everyone kind of did like basic stuff. So like scared of the dark, scared of being alone.
Right.
And they just drew whatever. And I don't know what it came to, but someone did something and it gave him the idea for everyone to stand up and act like a brave, deranged gorilla in front of everyone in the class.
Right.
And so one by one across the room, he's like, all right, you go. And everyone got up and they beat their chest and crawled around and like made all the monkey sounds they could. And then he came to me.
And how old were you?
15.
Okay.
And I think I was the last person. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll use that to my advantage. Everyone else went, I'm okay. And then Tommy did the Tommy stare and told the kid next to me to move so he could sit down, and then just sat down, stared, and said, "We're not moving on until you get up and do it." And then I'm like, "Ah, funny joke. That's real funny. It's okay." And he's like, "No, we'll be here all night. You're going to do it."
Right.
And then he I don't know if he pulled me aside and talked to me privately, if he was right there, but he's like, "Okay, well, what is something
in front of everybody, I believe."
He's like, "What is something that you like?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I like video games." He's like, "Okay, come here." And he gives me, and I tell him my favorite video game was Legend of Zelda. So he gives me a ruler and a clipboard. And he's all right, here's your sword, here's your shield. And then you stood on one end of the classroom and told, I think, the student that acted the most gorilla-like to stand in front of you.
Yes.
And be the bad guy.
Yes.
And he's all right. So that's the bad guy. There's the princess. Save her. And I don't know why. I guess because I wanted it over as soon as possible. I'm like, all right, let's do the quickest thing I can do. So I ran from one side of the room to the other, dropped down on my knees, and then slid and cut the bad guy in half with my ruler. And I saved the princess.
Yep.
And then I remember class ended. I got an applause. Class ended. Everyone left. And then that night, I messaged Tommy through Facebook.
Yep.
And I told him, like, "Oh, thanks a lot for doing that. Like, it really broke a shell for me, and I messed the hell out of my knee up doing that." And then, I think we went and saw you guys. And then the following year came.
Mm-hmm.
We did Masquerade again, but that time we were doing the Dark Side of Oz.
Yes. Correct.
So to then go and see you guys at MegaCon again.
Right.
Everyone was in the full Dark Side of Oz costume, and then I'm like, oh well, I actually was bumped up to president of our club that year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, what should I do? Being that I was very proud of my scarecrow that I did, what should I do for fun? And I don't know if I was going to do something different, but I did settle on going to MegaCon as Tommy.
Yep, I have that. That picture is on our Facebook, actually.
A button-up shirt, a vest. I got the hat that matched.
Yep.
I painted my beard silver, and I even took a cane and I wrapped the yellow and black hazard
tape
around the bottom, just like his.
Yeah.
And I showed up as Tommy, and I feel like, if I remember correctly, I walked up and he didn't realize that I was dressing up as him. I don't know if it was because I was a lot taller than he was, and he thought I was some dude. But the photo of everyone at MegaCon,
we're standing both the same.
It's almost like the sequel to Twins.
I'll find the photo on Facebook, and then I will repost it in this channel, or in this the video. But it's absolutely brilliant.
It'd just be called Twins 2. Take a tight shot on Tommy.
Right? Yeah, he didn't realize it was like that's what you were doing, because I think you guys told me, because I knew, because Sierra messaged me about, like, because she was going to come as me and you were going to come as Tommy. And she messaged me, so I knew it was coming, and I didn't tell Tommy because I wanted to see his reaction. And then it wasn't until after you guys left, I remember him coming over and be like, "Connor dressed up as me." And he was so happy and excited that you cosplayed as him. It was absolutely brilliant, because he had that cheeky grin, like that, the cat that ate the canary kind of grin that he had. So, yeah. And so Connor, for everybody at home, or not at home if you're in your office. Now, Connor is actually officially Tommy's last student, and my first student. So, we've got one of the first and one of the last, or the last, here. So, Sierra, you have lots of fun memories of Tommy. Why don't you share one? Connor did all the talking, so you can share.
I don't know. I'll give two. I remember the first time that I came over to your house with Connor, and I think we had known you guys for a couple of months.
Right.
Drove up to your house, and I didn't know what we were gonna do that day. And I think we were just sitting in the studio, and I'm like, oh my gosh, their house is amazing. It's like a museum. There's so much to look at. There's stuff on the ground. There's stuff up to the ceiling. They have 2 dogs. This is amazing. We're just sitting in the studio. I'm sitting on like a bucket that has a cushion on it, and then Connor was sitting on a stool, and I'm just like, this is Tommy Castillo. And he's like, I'm tired of painting. We're going to go ride Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm like, what? Loaded up in the van. And I remember as we were walking out the door, Tommy stopped in the doorway and goes, what size shoe do you wear? And I said, men's 8.5. And he goes, oh, here, take these. And they were his toe shoes.
Oh, yeah, the Vibram toe shoes.
I have worn those ever since. I've bought 2 more pairs. And like that memory just stuck with me. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this artist gave me his shoes. Really shoes.
This artist gave me his shoes.
Yeah, I was fully fangirling over it. We went to Disney, and
that's hilarious. That's brilliant. So what's your second one?
It's just like a compilation of just all the times like we were just sitting in your home and like, I don't know. Tommy felt more like a family member instead of like this really cool artist guy that we knew. If you guys need anything, we're a phone call away. You know, we'll help you out with anything. And you guys have helped me through a lot. Like I feel like I wouldn't have gotten so far with my success in my career or in life. When I met you guys, I was very shy and timid. And I remember going back
behind your hair.
I even changed my hair. I got my hair.
No, like she would like, it was like this.
Oh yeah, I would hide behind my hair. Yeah.
When I first met you. Yep.
And I remember going back to school and just having like a different outlook and a different viewpoint. And I remember Nicholson not liking it.
Oh yeah.
And
I got in trouble for that.
Messaging you saying, I don't know what you said to Sierra.
I don't remember either. I just sat down. I was bored because Tommy was talking to somebody. So when we first came and met everybody the first time before we had the group class from Connor's story, we were just walking around looking at people's artwork, stuff like that. And there was a bunch of people walking around talking. And then there was this table of 4 girls that just kind of sat not talking. And I got bored. So I went and I sat down. And I remember telling the one girl, not even asking, I was like, move over. I don't know who it was, but I was like, move over. And then I sat down. And then I just started talking to the 4 of you. And you were the only one that actually talked back to me. I don't remember what I said. I remember sitting there just like, whatever, blah, talking to this girl. And then the next day, I get text messages from Nicholson like, could you have said something different to Sierra? And in my brain, I'm like, pardon my language, but I'm like, who the fuck is Sierra, dude? Like, one of my students. Now she's coming in and she's cursing and she's like, well, Sammy says I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, that's what happens when you set us up to be better than you. It made me laugh. I was like, let her do it. And he's like, she can't curse in class. I'm like, who's going to tell her to stop? You? It was brilliant. I remember that. So I'm going to kick you off so we can start reading some of these comments. But real quick, hey, Jen, what is one thing that you learned from Tommy that you would pass down to your kids?
Everything.
Well, that was the thing was I didn't.
The awkwardness.
The lack of awkwardness.
The tragic comedy of my relationship with Tommy was that I didn't really get
a ton of time.
Yeah, I didn't really have much time with him. I mean, like, there were the few times of coming over, and then, like, obviously when he passed away.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it would, like, the thing I learned, which sucks to say, was I learned from him an important lesson that he probably followed when he passed away, which was to look out for the ones you care about.
Yep.
And it was, and I'll keep it short so you can keep going.
No, you take your time. It's cool.
But,
it's only 6:15.
Yeah. When he passed away, I remember I was at work and I got a text of like, hey, like Tommy passed away. And then that, I didn't know that he had any issues. I didn't know he was in the hospital. I didn't know any of that. And like finding that out, like kind of hit where it's like, oh, well, what I thought, like, I was the last student and I really didn't do much as a student. I just kind of, I have to deal with school. I'm only 15. I'm only 16.
Right.
I drive back and forth. And then I didn't see you guys for like 2 years.
Right. That's when all the medical stuff started happening.
And then he passed away. And then I remember like driving to work the next morning and like, I didn't like have like a moment of like thinking about it until I was going to work. And I like broke down in my car before actually getting out and going to work at a movie theater and have like with tears in my eyes, like, do you want the large or the medium popcorn?
Right.
And then I remember quitting we went to the funeral and everyone came up and spoke except me. But what I got was everyone said like, oh, like they went and saw Tommy the week before, or at least the month before he passed. And he told them like, look out for Sammy, like help her with whatever she needs, be there for Sammy. And then I remember quitting and then coming to you right when you got back from San Diego.
You guys helped me before to be prepared for San Diego.
Right for San Diego, and then you
boy, I wish you were there for San Diego that year.
You left and then came back, and we came over to like help you unpack or just see you. And I then told you, hey, I quit my job a week ago. Will you please say yes to me being your apprentice? Because I just quit my job.
Right.
And then 3 years later, here we are.
That's right.
And then the fact of like, I'm like, hey, where's all the people that said they'd look out for Sam? And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm here. And I didn't get to make that promise to Tommy. So like the past 3 years were like, I didn't get to make the promise, but I sure as shit am going to pay forth the promise that I owe.
Yeah.
So that's what
and now you guys are my kids.
Exactly. So that's pass something down to my kids. It's like, look out for the ones you care about and just do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll finish off with this.
All right.
Being that it's Tommy's birthday, an incredible chance, and I'll go all to Tommy. I just got a new job today.
Oh.
I'm now a proud sales representative of Cutco Cutlery.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
And it's just to make money, but like they called probably an hour ago and like, oh, here's your interview. Why do you think you stand out? And then I don't really need to repeat what I said because I'm sure you can think of, Sammy, you could think of exactly what I said.
I know exactly what you said.
Immediately they're like, well, we have a lot of people we have to talk to, but I think you're the right person for the job. And I'm like, cool. So me against like 20 other people, I got the job. And
you learned through the school at Castillo. I taught this kid, he could sell fire to the devil. And the devil would be like, I had no idea of those new uses. Thank you so much.
Because I told Sierra, like, oh, I have an interview tomorrow. And she's like, oh, how do you feel? I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it.
Well, congratulations, Connor. I'll hit you guys up after the show because I want to see you and I have to give you your part 2 Christmas gifts. But thank you so much. Everybody congratulate Connor on his Just for Money new job. And Sierra, as always, you're awesome. You're awesome too, Connor, even though I sometimes forget your name.
Right.
You have to call him John, because
Jason T. Cruz. I'm on Instagram as well as Jason Cruz.
John Connor, the one who's alive, he is in the present, not the future.
But you know, hopefully Connor will be back with me next year, helping me with shows, San Diego, that kind of stuff. And I want to drag Sierra along with me so she can get the road experience too, because that's a lot of fun. So I'll have these two crazy kids with me over the next year.
Nothing like those stories, right, Connor?
Oh my, okay, I will share this. It's not appropriate at all, but we cursed already, and you know what kind of stream this is at this point. We're 45 minutes in, sorry. So I remember the first road trip, Connor was with me. We were driving up, and the kid just like super dead quiet. And like it was trying to pull teeth getting this kid to open up. So finally, like we're 2-3 hours into the ride, and out of nowhere, I just look over at him and I'm like, you know, kid, you got to work up to anal. And he just turned bright red and was like, what? And I was like, I'm just saying, like, it's a key piece of advice. And then he started laughing, and it just broke like whatever nervous wall he had. And we became crazy, you know, road people after that, you know, that I'm like, we had specific road songs, you know, that we would sing. And it's traveling with Connor was always a lot of fun. So I want to rope Sierra into it so that she can get that experience too. And you don't need to be awkward about it.
To be honest, I want to thank Connor for keeping me in check at one time because I went to kill somebody at San Diego Comic-Con. Oh, and while I'm outside barbecuing, not just for us, but for everyone on our team and for everyone around us, just for Connor to just go, are you all right? I'm like, yeah. And then he'd come back with a beer for me, making sure I'm okay. Like he'd come back and forth. I'd be cooking and I'm like, my beer's already done. He goes, that was way too fast. And he made sure I had another beer or whatever food I just finished cooking. He made sure like it was getting prepared inside for all of us to eat. So Connor has been an amazing addition to the Castillo family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If one day I'll legally adopt him so when I die, he can inherit everything.
As that comment will say, that is one hell of a barbecue.
It was one hell of a barbecue. All right, kids, I'm going to kick you off for someone else, and I'll chat with you guys later in the week. Maybe like next week, you guys can come up and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. All right? I love you guys.
Bye, Mom.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, kids.
Kick them off.
Kick them off. They're the kids.
I gave Fred the link. But let's address some of these comments that I keep seeing, and then we'll get Fred on.
There's way too many comments anyway, because Bernie.
And let's scroll through and we'll read some.
Yeah, you saw Jen popped in. Friend said the stream is going nice.
Oh, thank you.
Bernie says, FYI, if you want the time travel, Facebook video is behind 45 seconds behind Twitch.
Brilliant.
Kyle being be 100% unapologetic, always be yourself, I guess.
Yes.
I remember
yourself. Yes.
Greg says, I remember where I was.
That's Emily. Not Greg. Greg is Snoop.
All right, Greg is Snoop. Emily says she remembers where she was when Tommy passed.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yep. It's cool to actually put a face on Connor's name now.
Awesome. Yep, that's my kid.
Cool apprentice story.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Pretty much. Lawson says, hey, Sammy.
Hey, on.
And then everyone congratulating Connor on his brand new job. And give us one saying good good going, Connor. A lot of congratulations. We also have the barbecue. If San Diego happens next year, I expect to try some barbecue.
Yeah, you can come over. We always stay at this Airbnb. I pay for us. Well, I help pay for us to stay at this Airbnb condo because I hate waiting hours to go to a convention. And the last thing I want to be is surrounded by the people that I just spent 15 hours selling to. So we end up going back and just having huge barbecues and like these potlucks and everything. There's a big one from Twitch.
Yes, from Dex Joyster. Sammy, do you still have the dinosaur Tommy loved telling me a little about it when we saw you guys in Port Richey years ago.
The dinosaur. The dinosaur? Like, was it a figure or was it a drawing? Because I know who you, I believe I know who you are. I have tons of dinosaurs. You have to be more specific. Tommy owned hundreds of dinosaurs. I will, let's see here. Good job. Do your job, Rash.
I'm trying to be a dad to join.
Yeah, that's fine. If he joins, he joins. If he doesn't, give him the recap. I'm going to quote you on that.
And then me being a good griller.
Yes.
Guess what?
Oh, there's
Freddy's
a private chat one.
Huh?
Somebody's in our private chat.
Yes, he is because he's ready.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm going to show one thing. And then we'll put
the one thing that Freddy's going to come on.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of our fans / friend, his name's Joe. He has known Tommy since before me. He was a fan of Tommy's for years, through Kansas City Comic-Con and then Planet Comic-Con. And he actually just sent me this. And he has spent the last 3 years collecting artists, either drawing or writing, things in memory of Tommy. Can we do the overhead?
We can, just when you're ready.
Okay, so it's a bit awkward. Kermit is in the way. Kermit, you gotta go, kid. There you go. So, can we see this okay? Some of it? All of it?
Everyone, can you guys see what's on the overhead right now?
I'll turn. So this was done by Michael Golden. And that was probably more for me than Tommy because one of my favorite Studio Ghibli films is Totoro, so we share that in common. But we've got so many people. Funny enough, Raphael was Tommy's favorite Ninja Turtle. Philip Moy gave us one of the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. So I just wanted to share. We have Phil Hester, Andy Park, Reinhold. Now, my favorite, which made me cry, some of these signatures, I probably know who you are, but I can't read your stupid art signature. So, for those of you, if you're tuning in and you participated on this tribute, thank you so much. I laughed and cried when I read these. And I'm going to share this one because Rodney is like a brother to me. Rodney Ramos, he was like a brother to Tommy. They did Batman together and a lot of the comic books. And he did a portrait of Tommy. Go back overhead.
I'm waiting for you to read it.
Yeah. He did a portrait of Tommy. And I love I love Rodney's work. But he wrote, I know you're always watching over us because I know you're a kinky bastard. LOL. Love ya always, my brother from another mother. And Rodney, if you're watching, I sent you a text message and you didn't reply. But this made me laugh and cry because he captures Tommy's smirk perfectly. Just like that. Like if you ever met Tommy, which most of you have, he had this smirk. And it was one of those smirks that was like, I know the answer, but you don't. And I think it's adorable that you can't figure it out kind of smirk. And it was like, you loved it. Well, I personally loved it, but it infuriated the shit out of me too when I saw it. But I just wanted to share this with everyone because, it goes to the testament of the kind of man Tommy was. When I talk about, when you hear a lot about artists, you go back to the side camera. I'm going to roll this up. When you hear a lot about artists, most of the time, the first thing you hear about, or the only thing you hear about, is how awesome their artwork was. But when people talk to me about Tommy, the first thing I hear is, how awesome of a person he was and how great of a man he was. And then the art comes second. And I remember having a conversation with Tommy, you know, around the time we got married. So this would have been like 2012, 2013. And I remember him, you know, I think it was the anniversary of one of his mentors passing, Frank Frazetta. And I remember him saying, you know, when he died, he didn't want people to just say like, wow, that guy was a badass artist. You know, he wanted people to talk about the quality of him as a person first. And one of the bittersweet things about his passing was like what he had hoped, wonderfully, if in circumstances, came true. Because you read comments of people, you know, even because they pop up for me when, you know, on his anniversary of his passing, and everybody was like, what an awesome guy. What an awesome guy. Awesome guy and a fantastic artist. You know, the art always came second. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And before I bring Fred on. But a couple people said a couple other things, or are we good on the?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Fred is here now. Say hello to Freddie.
Hey, Freddie.
Hey, guys. Hopefully everybody's doing good. And like Tommy would do, he had to hit me up during a deadline on his freaking birthday.
That's right.
Like, really, Tommy?
That's right.
On his birthday?
I'll make sure to keep you on as long as humanly possible.
It's okay. They can wait today. Today they can wait.
That's what I said.
Forget about it.
It's a national holiday for me.
Right?
He doesn't work.
Holiday?
He doesn't. I don't work on Tommy's birthday.
Charge him double, right?
Huh?
Charge him double on Tommy's birthday.
Nope. I will charge him double, and then they'll get it on the 13th or 14th.
They'll get it on the bill. They won't know about it.
Right. Tommy didn't care about working on his birthday, but when we started dating, we never worked on birthdays. Never. It didn't matter what deadline. Nothing. Would never.
Tell that to the wife.
What's up,
JoJo?
Yeah, no birthdays.
Yeah, birthdays awesome. I don't have to work on my birthday.
That's right. Mentor says so.
JoJo says she don't have to work on her birthday no more.
That's right. She doesn't. Mentor says
so. To my bills.
So Freddie, why don't give us a quick overview of how you met Tommy?
We were a roaming pack of wolves at San Diego Comic-Con. No.
Uh-huh.
So we're.
I would believe that.
Right. We're out of San Diego, and we were going to an art school, if you can call it an art school at the time, and a lot of our stuff is we're comic artists and animators, right? So obviously getting into the industry, and at the time, making money was smaller comic book jobs. Like if somebody would drop the ball, we were the guys that they would pay to come in and kind of be like, oh my God, we would need somebody to come in and pick up the they drop the ball, come in and fix it. And Tommy would be there every year. You'd see the booth. And I was lucky enough to actually get to talk to Tommy, because my buddy Mike Lindman, a college buddy, actually introduced me to Tommy. And at the time, what I didn't know about Tommy was a ground up guy, right? Up until that point, I always thought Tommy was, top tier guy. I didn't know where he started from. I always assumed that he was just like, had done Batman, had done all this other stuff. I made the assumption that he had, he was one of those guys who was just naturally gifted. I didn't know he was, one of us that kind of started from the bottom to the top, from the tutor to the tutor, right? And so once I got to know Tommy a little bit more. He had his work ethic, was kind of like us. We came from like a construction worker background. We were doing the 9-to-5s. We were, doing our submission pages to Marvel and DC. now that we're in industry and doing animation and doing 3D, Tommy was always, it was kind of great to see Tommy every year. It was great to see Mama every year. Mama is obviously her, the boss lady, right? And so every year, obviously, we live in a totally other side of the country, so we don't get to see. But every year, we would, stop by the booth, hassle her younglings, right? We'd give them grief. But Tommy would always give us like little kernels of knowledge, and we talk. I mean, hate to say it, but we talk shit. Tommy would like to talk shit, and it wasn't like talking to other comic book guys where you kind of had to watch what you say, right? You kind of have to be careful because the industry is a very small industry, right? There's, it's a very, everybody knows everybody, everybody talks to everybody, but Tommy, you were able to kind of like breathe a little bit.
Yeah, he was very approachable and down to earth. Like he despite his stature in the industry, he wasn't elitist with his attitude. When it came to talking with other artists, either, I don't want to say lesser, but less experienced than him. And because he always hated that pretentiousness and that elitism that a lot of the top tier guys have. And Tommy always, because he was a ground up guy, meaning he was self-taught, he didn't go to art school, he put himself through the paces. He would want to pass that knowledge on to others. So he would always take the time to stop and talk to somebody and help them.
Well, I mean, even at the convention, San Diego Comic-Con, he was just always like pumping stuff out. Like he was like a meat grinder, right? He was always making hamburgers, right? I was like, you need to stop. Stop trying to you need to stop, homie. Like, stop pumping stuff out so quick, right? You
say that to me too.
Yeah. And so when we found out everything that was going down, right, it was just like the once a year thing. Like we knew stuff was going down, and it was just like we had to get ready, right? We had to prep ourselves, and we knew stuff was, prepping ourselves for everything. And we knew the hurt was coming.
Yeah.
But we cowboyed up and we did what we did.
So what was one of the most impactful things on you that Tom, you talked about kernels of advice. What's one of the most impactful kernels of advice that Tommy gave you in the years that you got to see him?
Don't take shit from nobody.
Yep.
Yeah, don't take nothing. Like you can hear no 100 different times, but when you hear that yes, you take it and run. Right? Like you take it and you run and you don't stop, right? But your work ethic is going to get you farther than the guy that just gets tired and stops, right? And sometimes we've had this conversation where obviously I'm older now, being 42, and get some sleep, get your sleep, get your rest, do what you got to do. Obviously you're, if you're young, dude, enjoy it. Because, right? But Tommy's like, Freddie, don't take it, but keep fighting every step. If you're on that verge of you wanna, you get to quit and you feel tired, and it's you're gonna be working that 9 to 5, but now I'm not that 9 to 5. This is my full-time career.
Right.
This is what pays the bills. But sometimes cats like Tommy, they're the ones who are telling you, don't quit. Right. If I would have just quit, I wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
There's cats like Tommy and you, Sammy, and they're the people who are don't quit, you'll get there. But without that little push one time out of that year at Comic-Con, it helped in the long run, So that don't quit. That was Tommy's thing. That one time a year. It helps. It seems silly, but it did help.
It's funny to have somebody that has made it in the industry root for you you know, as, you know, to come up, because a lot of times, a lot of people will come to us and they had just gone to talk to such and such famous artist, and that artist told them, well, you suck, you should stop drawing. And then they come to us like upset about it. Mm-hmm. And I remember this happened specifically, that this kid went up to such and such an artist and, you know, said, you know, and it was, had given the portfolio, and the artist told the kid that the kid sucked, and that, you know, he can't draw feet, he can't draw hands, he has no idea what storytelling is, and that he should just quit and get a regular job. And the kid came to us and said, you know, was really upset. And I remember Tommy sitting there like, who did you go see? And I remember Tommy's like, that fucking guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This is what you do. And we had a full booth of people. And Tommy was, you know, the prints were piling up for him to sign. But he took that extra time to sit down and talk with the kid. And like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's an asshole. Don't listen to him. This is what you do. And that was like Tommy as a teacher and a mentor for people, always his motto when he was a teacher. And I hold this motto as well. So his teachings are living on through me. But the motto for him was, if his students surpass him, they become greater than the master, then he was a successful teacher. You know, because you don't look to your students and hope that they don't become as good as you. Like, that's not a teacher. You hope that they become better than you, and so that they can grow and pass on it and move things on. So he, hey Bob, so he, you know, he always did that for kids and students. He loved drawing with kids. What is that sound? What's going on? I hear things. Fred, are you making weird sounds?
Always. That's my favorite thing to do during video.
Are you cracking your knuckle and your mic is picking it up?
Maybe. One time I cracked my knuckle. One time.
No, I don't know. It sounds like something's hitting something. Anyway, I'm going crazy. So, you know, that I think is always the measure of a man who did not give up and didn't want anyone else to give up. So before I kick you off so we can read some comments and you know, I could share a couple other things. What's your favorite memory of Tommy?
My favorite memory of Tommy?
Memory of Tommy.
Oh, man. Jesus. I think it was
what's a memory of Tommy that always stands out the most, that every time a situation happens, you know, it's just like a Tommy moment?
Tommy moment?
Yeah.
When he was stoned at San Diego?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When he
I have that on video.
Do you? You have to send it to me.
I sent it to you I sent it to you 3 times.
I lost it.
He would just be, well, because when you would try to answer a question, or when you would just go up to him and you would just ask, hey, Tommy, how's it going, homie? And you'd be working up on stuff, and he would just give you like this bliss look. You'd just be like, Tommy, you there? And he'd be like, no, he ain't there right now. I'll see you in about an hour, Tommy. I'm out. And then Sammy, I'm out. He's like, be back in an hour. And then at the end of the day, he'd still be blitzed.
Oh, yep.
But yeah, it was just every year. Seeing the team, seeing the table. That was just like, I knew Comic-Con was there when you saw the corner booth. That's how you knew it was Comic-Con.
Yep, when you see the corner booth at the main aisle.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that when all this COVID stuff's over, he's there in spirit, and you know, it's Sammy. You just keep it going, baby. That's all I can tell you. It just
absolutely. All right, so Fred, thank you so much. Keep watching until the end, whenever that is. I was like, it's only going to be an hour. Rosh is like, no, it's not. It's going to be longer.
I'll be watching.
All right. Thank you so much, Fred. All right.
Anytime.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Uzi is like, give me attention.
That video, you remember a couple years ago, I gave you a flash drive. It's a Batman flash drive.
Oh,
It's
that's
got
what's on that?
picture. The video is still in there.
Okay, I have that Batman flash drive.
From 2015, when I went to San Diego Comic-Con as an attendee, when you know, we sat a couple minutes at the booth.
Oh, that's
many
right.
hours at the booth.
I remember that. So, Arash, now it's your turn.
Jeez, my time with Tommy.
So, enlighten the world on how you got to meet Tommy.
How I got to meet Tommy. It is the strangest story of all time because my name was running around the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con before Tommy even knew who my name was.
Right. We had heard about you before we met.
And I got introduced to you and Tommy at the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con 2015. Luscious introduced us and everything. And for some odd, strange reason, Tommy didn't care for the rest of the group that was with. He was more interested in me because it was kind of like my first/third time in the comic book scene. So like behind the scenes kind of thing. I think you were too busy with sales with another young lady and everything. And I don't remember the story I told Tommy, but I think it was, we started our own company. We're running these stories and we're having, we're doing the Luscious story and Joe at the time was running a story called Conquistador. And at the time, Tommy was interested, but not interested. Right. Then I went back to my table and for some reason, Tommy left the table. I think it was that Thursday or that Friday. And the show was empty. The show was completely empty. And Tommy left his booth and luckily it was just down the road.
Yeah.
Tommy was starting to walk and I was like, yo, this man's in a cane. What the hell is Tommy doing walking with a cane? So I left my booth, went to go grab Tommy. I said, Tommy, what are you doing? He goes, I'm coming to see you. And him and I, arm in arm, walking back to the booth and this quiet convention in front of Buzz, in front of Chris Campana, in front of all the other artists. Tommy is sitting at our booth, but not talking to the rest of the guys. Right. He wanted to share his Spain story with me.
Oh, right. Yep.
So he had shared a Spain story because I guess with the mention of Conquistador, he mentioned Spain. And then you had come in explaining the Spain story as well, too. Of like, there was this art painting in this castle, and you looked at it, it looked just like Tommy.
Yeah.
And how Tommy fell in love with everything of Europe.
Yep. Yeah. It was Avilés, Spain. They brought him to they do a comic book convention. But it's not even a comic book convention. It's like a plaza get together where like the artists hang out and they draw and drink coffee and it's all very European. But he fell in love with Avilés, Spain, and he jumped in the water. Rodney was there with him, and I remember Rodney telling me that Tommy was a nut because he wanted to jump in the water, so he just gave his phone and wallet to Rodney while everybody was walking somewhere. And then went and jumped in the water off the pier because he wanted to swim. A couple of years, 2 years ago at Baltimore, I had the privilege of sitting next to William Stout, who is a wonderful paleo artist. He was in Avilés and he was telling me stories about him and Tommy in Avilés. So there was a lot of hijinks that happened in Avilés with Tommy. And I think there was a story with, I think, Joe Jusko and someone else. I don't remember who, but they got up to some things that they shouldn't have done. And, Spain was a wild story unto itself. Yeah. So what is one of your favorite, he wasn't a mentor of yours or anything like that, but more of a friend.
What I loved about Tommy was that we shared actual stories within each other, with two different backgrounds. I was not of the convention scene. I was more of the business aspect of stuff. And I was trying to figure out a way of how to disrupt, like legitimately disrupt the convention scene, because that's how you become a sort of name for yourself.
Right.
And when he saw the three other people I was with, he saw, that this is something that the scene needs. You'd always need collaboration. You always need teams. You always need a clique to come in. So he saw the beginning of the first clique. That's 2015. And him and I traded stories all on that Saturday night till about 3, 4 in the morning. The bar had closed. Yep. You were asleep on the couch. Luscious was asleep on the couch. Joe was like in awe, like watching us talk. And Tommy and I were at both ends of the couch, just looking at each other, just talking all night. And I just opened a case of beer, and Tommy wouldn't drink with me. So I had put the beer down just so I could have a nice conversation with Tommy, because Tommy was not a drinker during that time.
No,
not knowing time was going.
That was, post Sam, that shit didn't work with a diabetic.
We exchanged phone numbers. The three of us all exchanged phone numbers, and we had stayed in touch throughout the times, including when we went to later that year. We were all at Rhode Island Comic Con, and we went to Friendly's later that night.
Friendly's, that's right. Before we all left.
Right, because we had all seen each other. I was like, yeah, let's do a dinner. All right, Friendly's. And Tommy wanted Friendly's only because he wanted the ice cream. Yeah, it was the ice cream sundae with the smiley face on it.
He loved Friendly's because they were the only ones. Friendly's is for those of you that don't know what Friendly's is, it's a northeastern, sort of East Coast
ice cream shop turned into diner. Yeah. It's more like a DQ how it is now.
And they served it started in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Friendly's, and they served Hershey's ice cream. And their specialty are all their crazy sundaes, like their Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sundaes and Jim Dandies and stuff like that. And so he loved Friendly's because it was the only place he could get a full sugar-free sundae, where everything was sugar-free. The peanut butter, the chocolate sauce, the ice cream. Wow, there's a book waiting for us.
The book just for you, actually.
Okay, no, that's fine. So he loved Friendly's, and we used to have one about 15 minutes north of us, and it's unfortunately closed down. But we would jump on the motorcycles, and we would drive, and we would go up there, and he would get mozzarella sticks and this sundae, which is the two weirdest things to get together. But I remember when he found out that there was a Friendly's
Island
in Rhode Island, he's like, we're going there. And it was never the funny thing about Tommy, and you can back me up on this, and then we'll get to the lengthy one that just posted. I think that says Kathy. The one Tommy, and if you ever went to dinner with Tommy, like if you went to dinner with Tommy, you didn't have a choice. Like you were going where he was going, or you just didn't go. And the weird thing about it was that it was always Tommy's way or not at all. And
Tommy was specific, because we'll go to a story that happened the following year in 2016, where you guys went to the pizzeria, and Tommy grabbed me and goes, "No, you're coming with me. I don't care."
Yeah, but you, like, weirdly, you were okay with it. Like, you weren't mad, like, that he was like, this is what we're doing.
Right.
And you're like, okay. And he did that to me our entire marriage. And like, it was this weird mystical Castillo Tommy energy where he's like, we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay. And it's not like I had a bad time or I didn't want to go. It's just, he had this way of enveloping you in the whirlwind and his pace. That was Tommy.
That happened with you as well too, young lady. You pulled off the Tommy the last time. It was 2018 when we were at Great Philadelphia Comic. For some reason, it happens to do with Great Philly. It'd be like one of the
days. I see you guys though.
Right.
you know, any other time we really like, you know, things are set. But go ahead, because I didn't know I had this Castillo energy. So
right, you had the Castillo energy. So 2006. So later that night. No, still the 2015 at Rhode Island.
Okay.
He made one of the kids cry to be like, if this is your passion of being in comic books, he made Tommy cry. He made this one kid cry.
Right.
Then 2016, where he's like, all right, we're going to get pizza. We're going to XYZ out to dinner. I want you there. And afterwards we'll talk shop. I was like, okay, we'll go. I remember him sitting down, Adam, and I wish Adam came in to join the stream and everything. And he sat Adam down, and Lou was just like, if this is what you want to do, like literally gave him. I watched Tommy give the heart-to-heart speech of, if you want to be in this industry, you better. How do I do it in a very PG way? I guess you really can't.
PG it.
Right, you know.
I drop so many F-bombs. It's NC-17, and I talk about anal, so it's fine. Just say.
Basically, if you don't have the chops, get the fuck out of here. That's basically like what it was in a nutshell. Yeah. If you think you deserve to be here, figure out a way. And he turned to every single person and says, you're already with Hash. Figure out a way to work with him, stay with him, and be a part of this. Otherwise, get the fuck out. There's going to be 5 other people that are better and talented and better than you. You're just wasting all of our time.
Right.
This is basically that in a nutshell. And I watched him do this at a dinner as well, where we had the infamous, the follow.
Right. Yes.
At Tommy's final year, where 2017, where the third person got that speech at the Texas Roadhouse. Yep. When I mean the place got dim, the place got dimmer.
Yeah.
And that person had to be sitting right across from Tommy. Well, I sat next to Tommy. I think I helped him cut up his food, because at this point he was like too busy. He's like, I want to eat it, but I don't want to cut.
Great Philadelphia Comic-Con 2017 was the very last convention that Tommy ever did. And at that show, he drew the very last thing he ever did. Fun fact.
But what was it?
It was actually a Blade commission. It was the only commission he took at the show. And this gentleman came up and, oh, wait, that reminds me. I have to do a Blade commission for that gentleman. Whoops.
Because of matching Blade.
2 years late. It's cool. Welcome to the Steve Castillos. I'm working on it. Anyway, rewind. So this gentleman came up and was talking with Tommy and you know, very praising of the work in terms of like, you know, he wasn't walking around with a lot of stuff. He had nothing in his hands, and he was very seriously considering things. And he talked to me. I talked about the prints. He went over and he talked to Tommy. And Tommy, you know, told him, you know, asked about commissions and stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm going to walk around and I'll come back. He's like, I got an idea, but I want to walk around and come back. Tommy's like, well, if I like the idea, I'll do it. So then the gentleman comes back and says, you know, I'm pretty sure he only bought one thing, and it was that Tommy commission. And he's like, and Tommy's like, okay, what character do you want me to do? And he's like, I'd like you to do Blade. Tommy's like, I love Blade. I'm going to do it. So there's Tommy. You know, at that point, he had been in liver failure and kidney failure. We didn't know he was in liver failure at the time. He was in a wheelchair, and he's like, you know, and he did a super cool Blade for this guy. And then when we got home, it was, you know, the month in the hospital. But at that same show, I remember Tommy, a woman came in. They didn't buy anything from us, but a woman came in. And she was having a hard time in her wheelchair, you know, and she was oversized and everything. And I remember we had bought a little secondhand sport chair for Tommy. And I remember he traded his wheelchair with this woman so that she could go around the convention easier. So he sat in her wheelchair, which was really like one of those crappy giant push handle uncomfortable things. And he traded his sport wheelchair to her for the day. And he's like, just bring it back when you're done. We were right next to the door. He's like, it's not like you're going to steal it. I'm right here. So, but he would do that kind of stuff all the time, you know, and he was just always very interested in other people and what they were doing and what's your dream? Because he was living his dream. So he was like, what's your dream? Well, your dream is to be a garbage man? Well, what do you do now? Not a garbage man? Well, why? Why aren't you a garbage man? You should be a garbage man. If you want to be a garbage man, go be a garbage man. And that was the type of like passion and energy he had with people. And he was one of those people that you could just say, hi, how you doing? And he's like, hi. And then the next thing you know, you're telling him your life story and he's giving you, you know, sage wisdom to change your life. What did Kathy have to say?
Kathy wrote, hi, Sammy P. Castillo. I am one of the nurses that worked with Tommy multiple times during his lieutenant. All currently miss Tommy and you much. He really was such a light, such an inspiration. Really enjoyed hearing his stories. And mostly enjoyed seeing the love you both shared. I'll never forget the day you both hung out in the office while Doc stepped out for lunch. Glad to hear memories. Don't be a stranger. Stop by, please.
Oh, absolutely. So Kathy worked for one of my favorite, if not my favorite, of Tommy's doctors, and Dr. Umberto. And he's a third generation retinal specialist. And so if you're still watching, Kathy, I actually talk about this story all the time.
Hold on real quick though. We just because this comments. Even in the hospital, he's still impressing the lady.
Yeah. Always. So yeah. So I will tell you guys this story. So Dr. Umberto is a very super knowledgeable and very, very stoic man. And, you know, Tommy and I were always very jokey, ha ha ha. And the doc was always very like, he would acknowledge the joke, but not really laugh about it. And he'd be like, well, this is, and I remember the first time Tommy made a joke about his eyes. The doc was like, this is very serious. This is serious, you know.
Highly inappropriate.
So my favorite story, and I unfortunately was not even there for this, but it was the one time I was helping someone else they needed a ride for their doctor's appointment, and it was just supposed to be like a quick checkup. So Tommy had somebody, I don't remember who, I think it may have been Wayne, drive him over. And I remember Tommy calling me, and the appointment ended up not being a regular doctor's visit. Like, oh, your eyes are doing great. But Tommy needed to get steroid injections into his eyes. And when I say steroid injections into his eyes, I mean literally a needle into the back of his eye because of the swelling. So I remember Tommy calling me and he's like, I got to get needles in my eye. And he was very scared. And we had been seeing the doc probably for about a year, at this point, with retinal surgeries, you know, laser surgeries and laser treatments. And I remember him telling me, you know, about the visit after the fact. And he was very, like, Tommy was in the room by himself, and he was very upset. And the doc was like, hey, so we're going to, you know, you need an injection in both eyes. So this week we'll do the left eye. The next week we'll do the right eye. And so he said, you know, I remember Tommy said that he told the doc, he's like, no, you're going to do both eyes today. Cause if I know what's happening, I'm not coming back in 2 weeks to get the other one done. We're doing both today or not at all. So that, you know, you guys prepped Tommy, and then you come in, the doctor came back after his eyes were numb. or right before he gave the first injection. And I will preface this by saying, to this point, the doctor had never even cracked a smile to us at all. He was awesome and very to the point, and he was an amazing doctor, but not even like a glimmer of a smirk, nothing. Very stoic man. And I remember Tommy telling me that the doc had the needle, he was ready to go, and it was the numbing agent. He had the needle, and the doctor, this is how Tommy described it. The doctor had the needle in his hand, and he turned around and he looked at Tommy in his very normal expression, dead face, dead serious, saying, "Don't worry, I saw this on YouTube." And Tommy told me he lost it. And that was like, he told everybody that story. And it's one of my favorite, like, to have a story in Tommy's medical years. It is absolutely one of my favorite stories to tell. And then, like, it was so funny because after that, our rapport with the doc was just so much like, "Hey chum, what's up?" So, I mean, I think it's amazing, and how, like, because a lot of people, we never saw it this way, but I mean, we always saw it this way, but a lot of people don't. And it's that, because we've saw these people and people, the doctors, so much, you build a rapport with them. And, like, weirdly, they become someone that, you always have to see, especially when you're sick, and people forget that doctors are humans too. And we always wanted to be those people that came in and the office was happy that we were there, because I worked in customer service. I don't know about medical industry wise, but, Kathy, you can agree or disagree with this. But I always wanted to be the person where you'd come into the office and they're like, "Oh, yay, we get to see, the Castillos today. They make us laugh. That makes my day better." Because I'm sure there's those people that come in and they're miserable SOBs and, you just, like, they kind of make your day crappy because of their attitude. So we always tried to be more upbeat and at least the pleasant part of the days. But that was one of our, like, I still tell that story to this day, and I wasn't even there. But please, I will definitely stop in and say hello to everybody. And I just,
well, Primo said I was still in PA for that. I took him to his first ZAP treatment up there too. He told me,
yeah.
Ben says hi.
Yeah. So please, Kathy, please send my regards to the entire office. Tell the doc, thank you so much for everything you did for Tommy. I'm getting all choked up now. I almost made it the whole way through.
Kathy says, always look forward to seeing you both.
I remember even though he would get bad news about his eyes, I remember him telling me, he's like, "That's okay. Like, if the doc can't," and he always called the only person he called the doc was Dr. Umberto. And I remember him saying to me, if he can't fix my eyes, then nobody can. He's like, "This man's a third generation retinopathy or retinal specialist. If nobody can do it, if he can't do it, nobody's going to be able to do it." And he always felt trying to think of the word. He always felt secure in whatever the doc, had said. And so, Tommy died with 20/30 vision thanks to Dr. Umberto. The man was completely blind and died with 20/30 vision. So, before I come and see him, please send my regards to the entire office. Tell him thank you so much, for everything, that he did and saved Tommy's vision. Like, that man single-handedly saved Tommy's eyesight.
To a point, because wasn't there a point where he wasn't allowed to draw or do anything for like 4 months?
Yeah.
Right. Because I remember the year before he wasn't drawing.
Yeah, there was about a year and a, like 2014, 2015, like every month, twice a month, we were going to the retinal doc. And after all of those treatments, you know, if it wasn't for Dr. Umberto taking him on we didn't have insurance at that point. We didn't even have a referral. We literally looked up the doc and made ourselves an appointment and came in. We had no referral, no insurance. And if he didn't take Tommy on, then, you know, Tommy would have never saw again. And I know a lot of doctors don't, you know, often speak or interact with clients, but your office was the only office that sent me a card after he passed. I still have it. Like, I still have your retinal sticker on my fridge. The magnet. It's the I think it's the Vision like grid. I still have it on the fridge. So I mean, you know, all of you were wonderful and helped give his vision back. I mean, he could see me in his last days because of you and the doc. So thank you.
Yeah, he saw me like with that fucking comment, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yes, I will definitely stop in, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in, and send me a friend request if you haven't already. Thank you so much for that. And you know, I was so good, and he got me all teary-eyed. So good job. What do we got left here?
Snoop said he could see the F out of the tunnel.
He could. Oh, hey, Bernie. All right. Hey, Ben. I love you. I was probably on his break. It's only 7:30. Wow. You're right, Arash. I'm like, it's only going to be an hour. And we're going on to hour 2.5. So does anybody have any other, before we wrap this up, because I think that's a pretty awesome way to wrap it up. Does anybody have any like stories they want to share, or any Tommy stories that they want to hear? I'll give you guys a couple of seconds while I grab a drink from my coffee. I should have grabbed a water, but I don't have one.
Right. I'm just happy that I got to have 3 dinners with Tommy.
You only had 3?
3. Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
I had Great Philly the following year, and then his last year at the steakhouse.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
All right then.
I'll take 3. 3's better than no. I kind of wish I did take a good picture with Tommy. That's the only thing I did miss, is that throughout the years, that's the one thing I never did, was take a picture with Tommy.
You never had a picture with him, huh?
That's like the worst part of me. I'm just like, I should take pictures more often.
That's the funny thing, is like, there's certain instances where, you know, like when he was healthy, that I wished I would have taken more photos, because we were just so in the moment and enjoying the moment so much that, you know, you don't think about taking a photo. You know, I mean, now in hindsight, I photograph everything. I'm like, come here, Ben, click, you know.
Let's take the silly photos. Rodster888 says, I remember that time at Dick's Last Resort.
Rodster, remind me which time. Who are you?
So it says, where we were sitting there, I was talking to you, and I told Tommy he better marry you.
Rodster Rodney, right? Rodney Ramos Rodney. Right? Is that you? Is that you, Rodney?
Anyway, Adrian says, I will always remember my name. He was so awesome in my book.
Tommy never remembered anyone's name.
Rodney says, that's right.
Okay. I showed your picture earlier. You didn't answer my text message. Unless I have the wrong 1.
Well, give out the number. Let's find out. Let's
Yeah.
Let's have everyone call him.
Ramos's phone number is
what? And he says, "What picture?"
The one that you painted for Cho. This one. He must have just tuned in. This one.
Probably said wrong number.
I'm showing it to myself. That one. Cho just sent it to me. What did Kathy say? She messaged me back.
A lot of people message you back, actually. Fred says, what's your greatest lesson from Tommy, boss lady?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. So, that's my greatest lesson from Tommy. Okay, there's 2.
Will and draw it? I don't know.
Okay, so 1, in life, in general, he is a lesson. His early death was a lesson to take care of myself. Because I did not. I would get 2 hours of sleep and I would work myself to the bone. So I definitely did not take care of myself. And his early passing was to take care of myself. It will now be public knowledge because I'm about to say this, but I did not take care of myself very well after he died. And it wasn't until I was 36, 37, that I discovered that we have massive hereditary heart disease and leaking valves in my family. So I have a very, very large chance that I have a bum ticker. So I decided to not error in caution, but because Tommy was not great at taking care of himself, that I was going to do the opposite because I don't want to be 46 and leave Ben a widow. But artistically, my greatest lesson from Tommy is it's a part A and a B. Live and do your work with courage, character, and conviction, and do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't. If you want to be one of the greatest, put the work in. Nothing will be handed to you. You have to earn it. And I am from a ground up woman. So just like Tommy was a ground up man, and I have no art school. I have no connections. I'm not using any connections that I really have. And I'm basically starting from scratch with a whole new business. And if I don't put the work in, it's not going to happen. That would be, I think, my greatest lesson, I think. Yeah.
Jesse Alston says, I never met Tommy in real life, but his zest for love, passion for art, and love of Sammy came through every live stream.
Thank you. Yes. So Jesse is talking about the from 2015 to 2016, 2 years, Tommy did live streams through Twitch. So you could go to our YouTube channel, which unfortunately is not linked, but if you look up Tommy Castillo in YouTube, tons of his interviews, and then a fair amount of our live streams are up there as well as mine. So you can take a look, and they're 3-hour live streams.
Kathy says my favorite was how we got into drawing. I'll stop commenting now. This tribute is awesome. Call me anytime in the office. Ciao for now.
Oh, thank you. You don't have to stop commenting. It's okay. I like the comments. Thank you so much. And yeah, so how Tommy got into art was when he was 12 to 15, 16, he actually was a BMX freestyler in the mid 80s. And he was coming off of a half pipe and was doing a trick and failed at that trick, and landed and broke his right leg basically in multiple places. He broke his ankle. He shattered his ankle, broke all of the struts to his toes. dislocated his knee, and then he fractured his femur, which severed the nerve up in the upper part of his hip. And you know, his family didn't have a lot of money, probably didn't have any insurance, but he was put in this gigantic wheelchair. And the only room that wheelchair fit in was the art room. And, you know, Tommy was really upset and depressed because, you know, he had lost, you know, his sponsorships with BMX. You know, he was interviewed a bunch with BMX magazines, and he did work for the Domino's stunt team. You know, the bike stunt team that would travel all over the U.S., and he was in Domino's commercials. So if you're old enough to remember the Domino's commercials from the early 80s, or mid-late 80s, which I am not because I was like 6 years old, according to Tommy, and I've never seen the commercial, but as Tommy stated multiple times, the kid in the commercial doing a tail whip in the middle of Times Square, or in front of, I think it's either in Times Square in front of Madison Square Garden, I can't remember. That was Tommy in that commercial. But anyway, so he was sitting there sad and depressed, and I'm pretty much saying this verbatim because I, over the last 10 years, heard this story thousands of times. He was sitting there upset, sad, and depressed, and his art teacher, Dan Iorio, Mr. Dan Iorio, came up to him and must have saw something, because he told Tommy that all he cared about was the money that he was getting from his sponsorships and the fame, and that, you know, he bet Tommy $30 if he could draw if he could copy a Vidal Sassoon ad, which was, and I actually have it. I have the actual original. Hold on. Let me pull it out.
Oh, no. Well, as you're trying to pull it out, Primo said, dirty water dogs on the steps of the Mets were some of the best dinners with Tommy.
So Dan bet Tommy $30 that he couldn't draw this ad of this woman with the reflection of the London Bridge reflected in her sunglasses. And Tommy did. So this right here is literally the first piece of art Tommy had ever drawn. And we went to see Dan in 2013, and so that was like 20 plus years later, 27 years later. And Dan still had a photocopy of it hanging in his classroom. But this is, so if anybody ever heard the story of Tommy and how he started drawing and the image, this is that drawing that he did.
The image of the lady with the...
Yep. And he was copying a Vidal Sassoon ad. It shows you how 80s that was. But we'll put this behind me for now.
Ben just left you. It says, bye, folks. Bye, babe.
Bye, honey. Well, he said hello earlier. He must be at lunch early.
Yeah. Rodney says, you finally got it. So true. You have earned it. Yep. You're a doer, Sammy. You'll get it done.
Thanks, Rodney.
Donald added, Tommy at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con quick sketch was an absolute wonderful time. Some of the art he created are amazing.
Yes. So in Pittsburgh Comic-Con, if you had asked Tommy what his favorite convention was, it was Pittsburgh Comic-Con. And he loved everything about that show. That was like never a show was it to miss. I think in its entire, like, since he became a guest at that show, he missed the only one he missed was the very last one, because we both accidentally double booked shows. But he always held the, I think Ben keeps messaging me. I'm live streaming. He is. Oh, so he always had a, Oh my God, Ben, I love you. Stop texting me. So he, for those of you who don't know, Ben is my future husband, my fiance. Anyway, so he, before me, let's rewind this here. Before me, and this is so quintessential Tommy. He was a bit of a ladies' man, and that is putting it very, very politely. And we're going back to the days where Playboy and Penthouse bunnies and Playmates and whatever they're called were guests at the comic convention. And for those of you that are old enough to know, that was quite early mid 2000s. And he was trying to impress a Playmate. I think she was a Playmate, a lady who takes naked pictures. I'll just say that. He was trying to impress her to get laid by her. And he said that he could draw with anything. And she dared him or gave him the challenge to draw with whatever was around him. And it ended up being he drew a dragon on the inside top of a pizza box with, I think it was chicken grease, cigarette ash, and I want to say mustard or I think it was mustard or something like that. And he drew this pretty badass dragon, and it impressed the lady. And he did, in fact, get laid from that. However, the next day, and that happened on Friday. So the show was, I believe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Friday night, Friday, they would always have a little, like, beginning party. So the next day, I believe it was Saturday, they had a children's Make-A-Wish art auction. And it was an art auction that we always, we as the Castillos ran for years. I don't think Tommy was running it at that time, but he submitted his pizza box dragon and it won lots of money. It got lots of money for the art auction. And everybody was very impressed. But from that year on, that started the pre-show party where all of the artists would get together and draw on found objects and auction them off at the art auction the next day. So Tommy trying to get laid led to a 10-year tradition for the Kids Make-A-Wish Foundation art auction. And I mean, how hilarious is that? That's where that went. Tommy would do some of this craziest stuff, and it always ended up like perfect in the end, but yes, that was a Tommy story.
Rodney says, remember the trip down to Tijuana?
I don't even think Tommy remembered much of the trip down to Tijuana. That was well before me. You'd have to enlighten me on that one, because I know it happened, and I vaguely remember him telling me like a story or two, but not enough to regale people with it.
Well, Fred says sad face, and he says San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Friend said, "What a man would do for some tail."
Oh yeah, it made me laugh. He was a show off, though. I mean, he really was. You tell him, you give him a challenge. That's what made Tommy so great, though, because he was more of a showman than he was like an artist. Like, he just loved the energy he would get from people from doing the quick draw. I mean, speaking to Donald with the quick draw. Now, the quick draw was usually like, I think it was like people would get like 15, 20 minutes to do a piece, to do an 11 by 17 piece. But Tommy would take this roll of paper and he'd roll it across the stage. So like your piece was literally like 6 feet by like, maybe 7, 11, 12, something like that.
And then I changed from 8 by 10, like a piece of paper.
And people were struggling with these 8 by 10s in 30 minutes. And Tommy's doing this 6-foot-long Batman fighting xenomorphs and zombie Spider-Mans. And he loved it. And I remember he would let the kids draw on them too. Like, here's the Sharpie, go at it. And all of the older artists are like, ah! Tommy's like, fucking color that part. Yeah, keep coloring. Like, he'd bring the kids on to color on these pieces. It is so funny. So funny. What other comments we got?
Adrian says, I will always remember the shock that Sammy was around 2 years in a row. I'm glad she was there every year, I remember.
Yes. Tommy before me would go through ladies like tissues. They never showed up 2 times in a row. So my entire first year of being with Tommy, nobody knew my name. I basically introduced myself to everyone, like every single show. And then the second year I was around, people are like, hey, wait, you were the girl from last year. And they were so surprised. Like, wait, you're the girl from last year, right? Mm-hmm. You're the girl from last year, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember. That was not a great time to be me. That was not the best, things to go for. But, he was worth it in my eyes, and one of the things that I still hold to this day is, Tommy was always 100% honest with me, whether I wanted to hear what he had to say or not. He never lied to me, and he flat out would tell me, and I would be like, why don't these people remember my name? Like, I remember complaining about that. And he would say, honey, it's because they're used to not seeing women more than once. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and he was always very honest about his past with women or anyone, what you see is what you got. And he was 100% unadulterated him. And you either loved him or you hated him. There was never an in between. It was like, I never heard anyone say, Tommy was all right, I guess. I've never heard that. People were like, Tommy's amazing, or what an asshole. And sometimes that was a compliment.
I got Tommy, what an asshole, like the last last minute. Yep. The what an asshole. His final moments with me is what an asshole.
Oh, well, tell them. Yeah, you go ahead, tell them.
Let's go to the last 3 comments, and then I'll tell the last story, I guess. Rodney says, Tommy took us to that shady club in Tijuana.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
I won't tell. It was wild.
Yes, that is. That's not a story to share at a tribute, but you can imagine Tommy laughing. Tommy. How do I put this? Whether or not it was the case, he was an expert at everything, and that included places to travel. I'm just going to put it there. I'm just going to leave that comment there.
Rodney commented, I guess 2 RPs in a pod.
Yep.
Fred says, that's why you guys in San Diego love Tommy. It was okay to be a little bit bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the biggest
everybody's got, okay, I'm going to preface his story. Everybody who has ever interacted significantly with Tommy has this loving Tommy, what an asshole story. Everybody has one. Rodney can think of 1,000. So can Primo. So can I. And it's this story where you can't help but love Tommy for the misguidedness of what happened, and then you think back, you're like, oh, what an asshole. And it's in the best senses of the word. So go ahead. What was your, you got the granddaddy of them all, Arash.
It was me and Mike who got the granddaddy of them all. Let's put Mike into this as well too. Mike, he was staying at the house right before I showed up.
Oh, SCA Mike. Yes.
So April, I'm at the Comic-Con show. You give me the infamous phone call. Hey, make arrangements. Come to Florida.
Tommy is actively dying. Come to Florida.
Yeah, come to Florida. It's like, okay, I make arrangements. I go XYZ. These are the dates, and I had 3 things on my mind. I'm either landing, Tommy's already dead, or I get there, he's dying, dies right in front of me, or X number 3, the day I leave, Tommy dies. Long story short, I land, I get a nice Mustang. Here I am thinking that we're going to go to Disney World. Tommy's going to be A-okay. I get there, put him on a wheelchair, we go to Disney World. Nope. The second I get out of the plane, the second I get in my car, the second I drive to the house, I just open a door. Then there's Tommy's bed in the middle of the living room. Sammy goes, Tommy has something to tell you and Mike. And I just landed. The first words out of Tommy's mouth is, I'm literally on my hands and knees seeing him. Hey, buddy, what's up? It goes, and he goes, yep, I think I'm done. I'm like, what do you mean you're done? He goes, yeah, I think I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to die this week. I'm like, what?
Is that what he said to you?
Yes. Yes.
I wasn't in the room. Like, I gave them a moment.
because now Sammy comes back in the room. I'm going, Tommy, is this what you really want to do? I can't wait to take you to Disney World and do this and do that. He goes, nope, I'm ready to die. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there fucking tearing, crying my eyes out right there, right in front of him. And that's it. That's the last conversation. The last thing that Tommy and I have said is that. That is our final moment.
I'm done.
I'm done.
No, I didn't know that's how he phrased it to you. Oh, that's awful. So Tommy was on dialysis, and to give you guys a bit of the nitty gritty, he was home for 11 days on hospice care, and I was doing his dialysis because I was his nurse, and I consulted doctors, and our main doctor said, look, he's a fighter, and he's going to survive it, but he's going to continue to deteriorate. His body is going to shut down around him. And the easiest thing for him might be to stop dialysis. And basically the dialysis acted as his kidney function. And when you don't have kidney function anymore, basically you go to, for lack of a better way to say it, like you stop dialysis, it's like usually 2 days, and then you go to sleep, and then you just don't wake up. And that's the easiest way you could ever want to go. And, when I first talked to Tommy about it, he flat out, he was a fighter, and he's like, I'm not done. He's like, I'm not done fighting. The Grim Reaper's not getting me. I'm not done. And then we had about a week of people coming and visiting. And it was, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
I remember the night before, and I remember the morning of, because I still remember the smell of food. And the smell of food is Primo the night before made lasagna, because him and I went to go get seasoning. The following morning, I made French toast for everyone.
That's right, because Tommy loved French toast. And so that morning, that literally 15 minutes before Arash arrived, Tommy called me over to his hospice bed, which was in the living room because couldn't fit anywhere else in the house. And I remember him saying, I'm done. And at this point, his circulatory system was shutting down. So his fingers were starting to turn black. His body was shutting down around him. And he was going to start being in a lot of pain. And so he was like, I'm just done. I think I'm done. That switch flipped. And I said, okay. And he was so adamant, because I told him Arash is coming to visit, blah, blah, blah. And I remember he was so adamant to tell Arash, I want to make sure Arash knows. And I'm like, okay. But I didn't know, that's what he said and how he said it. Yeah, see you later, dude. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll catch you on Wednesday. I didn't know that's how he said it.
I think he said it how do you break it down? How do you turn something sappy into you know what? How do you do it? There's no better way of just like, oh, I'm done. Like, no.
So what are some of our comments after that?
So Adrian says, third year, Sammy was there. I said, hi, Sammy, in front of him, then turned to him and said, hey, you brought what's her name? He smiled.
Wow, that's funny.
Rodney laughs. He goes, I guess he's going with Tommy was honest in what he said to you, even to the bitter end. For real. And then, yes. And here's the other sad moment, too. That same day, Stacy and Kat arrived because it was the day. It was the day
Stacy sat down and we trolled. I trolled all the fans with Ghost Tommy. Because it was the only thing that was making me laugh.
I think I went to go pick them up. You had just made it, after you made the video, we were going through all the comments.
Yes, thousands and thousands and thousands. People say some stupid shit when people die. You know, like, because honestly, I have to say, and I'm not blaming anybody that says this stupid shit, but you really, Tommy was the,
Tommy was.
If you know me, I am just like my husband in the fact of that I don't do anything halfway in any form or fashion of my life. And so Tommy at that point was the only family loss I had ever had, like significant family loss. You know, I still have both my parents. I'm not close with anyone else. So, you know, there's no, like, I didn't have best friends that died or anything like that. So my first and only loss was my husband and best friend, who I spent literally 24/7 with for 10 years. So, you know, you don't really know what to say until you go through it. And even then, you don't really say anything. You're like, yeah, that sucks. You know,
Kat
like,
said,
I get it.
Yeah, yeah, Kat said we spent hours going over the comments. Yeah. I think at one point we all took turns with the comments.
Well, yeah, everybody had a different page because there were so many outlets we were getting information from. And so, you know, so when you're, you know, because people, if you don't go through the loss, you sort of, I'm going to say you pantomime what you see on TV or what you think other people should say, you know, and it, like, death of someone in your immediate family bonds you with anyone else that has death in your immediate, like in their immediate family, to the point that you become friends with people you don't ever expect to become friends with. Because that year I was at a comic convention with John Rhys Davies, and he is one of Tommy's favorite actors, and he is a wonderful man. And he and I bonded over the silly shit people would say about our dead loved ones. That was like how we bonded. And I remember he was supposed to go to the signing, but we spent hours talking about it. And he was talking about, you know, I had just lost Tommy a couple months before that. And he was talking about how when he lost his child, you know, I think it was like mid 80s or so. And I remember him telling me, like, you know, people saying, oh, well, you know, it's not as if you lost a person, you know, like the infant died, you know, or there was a baby that died, you know, it's like, it's not like you lost a person, you know, and, or this will be better for your acting, that kind of stuff. So it's a weird club. It's a weird club to be a part of, but, what was, Adrian's last comment?
I think my comment was asking, are my prints now haunted or valuable? He was a good guy and fought hard.
Yes. What did Rodney say?
Rodney said, I had so many people who had died on me. At that point, I didn't even know what to do when it was Tommy. I was in a state of a confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Aren't we all? All right. It was rough. Yeah. But I have your number, Rodney, so I will text you. But we got to wrap this up because I intended to not have it last 2.5 hours. because Arash has to go do a show like in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, Arash. We are going to end this fun tribute extravaganza with nothing more ridiculous than a Tommy trivia contest. So there's going to be 3 questions and a bonus question. So 4 questions in reality. The first person who answers with the correct answer, Arash is going to write down your name because you will win a Castillo print. If you answer the bonus question, you get a Tommy signed Castillo print. I have a handful of them. I have no idea what they are. But anyway, so here are 3 questions. Because Arash, it's not done yet. Stop saying goodbye. Because Arash told me that these answers are not as easy as I think they are, I did, in fact, give everyone all of this information at some point in the stream. So, question 1. What was the title of the Batman 5-issue story arc that Tommy is most well known for? Rodney can answer that one. But he's not going to get a Tommy print because I doubt he wants one. As we have the silence. Do, 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 do. Let me know if you guys need hints. You can Google too. It's funny that I have an encyclopedic knowledge of Tommy. So I thought they were pretty easy. Goddamn. Well, Greg, if you're a true fan, you'd know this. Rodney, I don't expect you to remember. No, Jesse, not Batman Black and White. Rodney, you do so much work, I don't expect you to remember.
No, it was not Tales from the Crypt.
No, it's a Batman. It's a 5-issue Batman series. Should I give them a hint?
They should get it even if you give them a hint because it is the 5 comic series.
It's starring the Riddler, or the Riddler is in it.
He goes, I disqualify myself.
That's because okay, so
Could you imagine that one? Oh my god, if they ever did that one, Tommy would be all over it.
He would like manifest himself from the ashes and be like, here you go. I was talking with, you got it, Greg. It is Riddle Me That. Absolutely. So you get a free art print. Question 2. Oh, I gotta write Greg's name down. Hold on. I have a pencil. I should have a pencil. Greg won one.
Greg has won.
It was Backup and Detective. Absolutely. Yes, it is. All right. Don't try to stiff me. I know where you live. Yes, I vaguely know where you live. Okay. Question 2. Rodney also worked with Tommy on this project. Well, sort of. One of these projects. What creator did Tommy collaborate with on a limited comic book series and film? Hi,
the only one question I got right with you.
Yes, it was the only question. So I actually asked Arash these, and I asked Primo these questions. And Primo got most of them. Yes, Greg. George Romero. Someone's a Tommy nut. All right. Question 3. Greg.
It was his favorite creator.
Yeah. I have pictures of him and Tommy from Spooky Empire that I have to post. They're up there making zombie films, making zombie Jesus films. Okay. This is question 3. So far, all of you are losing except Greg. Hi, Tabby. I don't know why I called you Tabby. It was just the thing that I Just did now because
Hi, Tabitha.
Hi, Tabitha. Jesus was a lich, not a zombie. True. Okay. What publication of Tommy's saw the initial printing of 140 million worldwide and has continued to be published for the last 10 years?
Da, 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 da.
That was awkward and hurt my shoulder.
Did something crack? That is something crack in the process?
Something weird. Although
I thought you said death. Greg says, say it again. But Larissa says,
okay, Strathmore what? You have to be specific. This is for a print, woman. That's right, Shakar. The green covered sketchbook. You got it. Shakar's got one. Woohoo! Okay.
bonus question.
Sorry, Stalker. Shakar got it before you. Okay. Now this, last but not least, is for all the marbles. And this is going to be, so the print is going to be, because I don't have any small prints, it's going to be one of our big 20 by 30 giclées. And I have to contact you to see which ones I have left. So, okay. Bonus question. This is for all the marbles, kiddos. What was Tommy's first publication, and what was the exact date? Magic.
Dun, 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 dun. Ah,
You do that really good.
ah.
It's a two-part question for all the marbles.
One of these days, I'm just going to take one of Tommy's lines and just say it in Kermit's voice.
Right? Yeah, I thought it would be fun to kind of end this on a fun, silly competition. Like, no, not 1996. I did say it. I did say it. For all them's marbles. Watch, everybody's scrolling back. They're not even watching. They're scrolling back to try and find it. Harry Carey, 1987. Correct year, but wrong thing. No, 86 map of Jersey. Wrong year, correct product. Oh, too bad. So sad.
Both hints were just mentioned.
Too bad. So sad.
Dun, 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 dun.
It was the Jersey News, but I don't remember what year. It was 76. Right. He was 5 years old. You got it. Done. He was 5 years old when it was published. 87 map of Jersey. That's close enough. I think that's close enough, don't you think?
Close. That is the closest you're going to
All right,
get.
Donald, you got it. It was a pictorial map of Jersey, and it was March 7th, 1987. So, done. Gets the Tommy signature, which is good because everybody that's won. I was in traffic when you said it. Not my problem. You've known for weeks that this has been happening, woman. Not my problem. But Arash probably has to go in like 2 minutes. So
Now.
we're going to wrap this up quick. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me. And the one thing that I want to do, Arash, we're going to be dumb and we're going to sing happy birthday to Tommy. Wait, I got to go get him.
Like physically, she's physically going to get Tommy. Wait till the physical moment happens and all you guys are going to cry. Don't break it. Don't break. He is already missing a foot though, so.
I got to remove Kermit.
Okay.
Oh, he's so heavy. I forgot how heavy he was.
Because he's dead.
Fat ass. Even dead, he's fat. There we go. Here's Tommy. I added things to it. All right, everybody. We're going to sing happy birthday to Tommy. And those of you at home, we're going to sing it too.
Real quick thing. The last time I was there, all this was not all on it. What the heck happened?
All right, so this is the necklace he always wore.
Okay.
I restrung it and I put it on there for fun. The crown, for any of you watching that, when Tommy was in the SCA, he was a baron. So this is his leather circlet that he used to wear. And then I have some of his Pennsic medals on here because I had nowhere else to put them. And then we have our wedding rings right there. All right. Everybody's got to sing at home.
You got to sing it because there's a delay between you and I.
Okay. Oh, you're not singing with me?
Well, I'm going to muff the words, we'll say.
He's not singing well. I'm going to sing
Lip
anyway.
sync.
Ready, Tommy? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tommy. Happy birthday to you. So everyone, on behalf of me and Tommy's urn and heavy things of ashes, I know, Uzi. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the tribute and the live stream. It's been a pleasure sharing stories with you, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to do this again. So thank you, everyone. Have an awesome rest of Tommy's birthday. Go do something fun and ridiculous, and if you're still working, just get up and leave. Say you're dead and just get up and leave and celebrate the day for Tommy. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much.